Hi guys, my name is Bree Simano. I'm 21 years old. I have cerebral palsy. And we just wanted to come together to create this podcast to be able to continue to encourage and inspire others who are in a difficult circumstance like we are.
Well, hi, I'm Harym. I'm 24. I also have cerebral palsy, so I can speak today. Welcome to episode 1 of Besties on Wheels. Didn't think we'd be able to say that sentence as quickly as we did. We've been planning to do this for about 9 years. Finally happened. So why don't we just go straight into today's topic, shall we?
Sure.
So you might be wondering what this podcast is gonna entail. Growing up with a disability, we always understood that life is rough. I mean, let's be honest here, life is rough for everyone. But it's even that much more rough when you throw a disability on top of it. And Brie and I have always had these open conversations about that, like, we don't on the phone for hours on end. I think Brie, you can attest to that.
Yes, definitely. And what I've learned throughout life in general and in my life is that we're not the only ones that are going through challenges. And what I've always reminded myself of is to be kind to everyone because everyone is fighting a battle that we know nothing about. So I've always found peace and hope knowing that we're not the only ones that are fighting some type of battle in this life. So
Yeah, and I think for us especially, like, we've been talking about doing this podcast for years now.
yeah.
And actually, this podcast wasn't a thing till earlier this week when we decided to buckle down and finally do it. Because I think for us specifically, well, one, we're about 1,400 miles apart. So, we do not live near each other at all.
Yeah.
Bree lives in Florida and I live in Texas. So, we really do rely on communication and being open with each other to make this work.
Yeah, definitely.
Because again, we can't see each other's face every day. We don't know what the other is thinking every day. We don't know exactly what the other one is going through every day because there's stuff we might not want to tell the other at the time. So communication has very much been key to keeping this friendship going.
Yeah, definitely.
And I know we're gonna touch on this a bit next week, but do you kind of want to go into how we met?
Oh yeah, for sure. So that was a crazy story how that all happened, but we have a mutual friend named Eden.
Who you'll meet next week.
Yeah, who you'll meet next week. She is such a wonderful soul, and we love her so much. But we're excited for you to get to see her next week. But anyway, we actually met through her because she pursues a career in music, and she was on Instagram Live one day, and we both had happened to be on that live the same day.
At the same time, actually.
Yeah.
I think you got on right after I did.
Yeah. And we actually didn't think anything of it. We were like, okay, like, this is just like a normal day. I'm just gonna hop on my friend's live. And then next thing you know, our friend Eden says, "Oh yeah, I have a friend named Harym that I think you guys should really connect." So later that night, I reached out to her and I was like, "Well, let's see where this goes," because at this point, I didn't really think anything of it. I was just like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna meet a really cool person that has CP like I do," but I didn't think it was gonna build into this friendship like it is today. But as soon as I reached out to Nick, and just to give you a background, her name is Erin, but I call her Nick because her name's Dominique and the ending letters are N-I-K, but I couldn't pronounce Erin at the time, so she was like, "Just call me Nick, it's easier."
You couldn't pronounce Harym for like 6 years.
Yeah, so anyway, just to give you a background so you're not confused. But
Yeah.
anyway, as soon as I reached out to her later that night after the whole life happened, I immediately knew that this was gonna be a totally different relationship and friendship than I've ever had, because I just felt this peace and safety with her that I haven't felt with anyone else in my entire life when it comes to knowing my disability fully and what I go through, and it's just a really special connection that we have.
Yeah, and I think for me, like, that night was, it was a bit of a crazy night because again, like Brie, like, I never had, like, sure, I've had friends in my life, sure, but I've never had a friend that truly understood my day-to-day life.
Yeah.
I've always had friends that would tell me, "Oh, that's so cool that you sit in a chair all day." Like, people don't realize that it's not what they think it is.
Yeah, exactly.
So with Bria, like, to finally have someone to, like, as weird as it sounds, complain to.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we complain to each other
Oh
a
yeah,
ton.
definitely. On the daily at this point.
There's a lot of complaining going on because, contrary to popular belief, I mean, life in a chair is not fun.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not rainbows and butterflies.
Yeah.
We don't just zoom around streets all day.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
like, people don't realize therapy schedules play a lot into what we're able to do in a day. You know,
Yeah.
that's why, for example, when starting this podcast, we really had to, like, plan out days
Yeah.
because our schedules are so booked. Right now, we're filming. It's currently on a Friday. We know you will see this on Sunday, but it's Friday. We are filming this on a Friday. Just because that's when schedules happen to correlate.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, friendships in general are difficult, but throwing a disability on top of it, and it becomes a whole different mess.
Yeah.
I've learned in my lifetime that if you're lucky enough to have one friend that understands, you're pretty much solid.
Yeah, same here. And like, what people don't understand either is like at least for me, a lot of the times in my life, people will be like, "How are you so positive? Like you're happy all the time," and stuff like that. But what they don't understand is there is many sleepless nights that I have behind closed doors, crying my eyes out because it's so difficult emotionally. And obviously, people don't see that because I don't let a lot of people see that side of me. But a lot of people in general think that, "Oh yeah, she's so happy, like she doesn't um have to go through anything rarely emotionally." But I could say like definitely that I do have hard days, and there is points where it just all catches up to me and I have to let it out. So
Yeah, and I mean, I think also there's this stigma of okay, because I cannot tell you how many times I've been told that I'm an inspiration because I'm happy.
yeah, exactly.
Like, but I feel like that adds pressure to be happy all the time.
Yeah,
I feel like that adds pressure to have to put on a brave face all the time.
yeah.
If you get what I'm saying. But
No, I totally get where you're coming from.
but with you, like, we don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, and you probably know where I'm going with this, but I had a very difficult friendship about 3 years ago now. And 3 was around through all the ups and downs of that. And the night that friendship ended, I remember not knowing who to call. And I just called you. And I didn't even have to say a word. You knew by the way I answered the phone that something was up. And I just exploded that night.
Oh
Remember?
yeah. I
Like,
will honestly, like, as weird as it sounds, I will honestly, like, never forget that moment because I feel like even though you were really upset in that moment, I also feel like it was a really special moment between our friendship, because I was able to talk you through that hard time and I was able to let you know that even though I couldn't be there for you in person, that no matter what each other faces, that we're always going to be there for each other. So I will definitely always remember that for sure.
yeah, I mean, I think for us, like, the main reason we wanted to do this podcast in the first place, we know there are hopefully going to be a lot of parents listening to this that have children with CP, and we know that there's a lot of unknowns with CP when your child is first born.
Yeah, or not even just with CP, any type of
Yeah,
disability.
yeah. I think there's always that unknown of, are they ever gonna have friends? Are they ever gonna have friends over? Like, are they gonna ever have things to do with friends? You know, like, so the main reason we wanted to do this is to show you that, yeah, like, yeah, we still have friends. I mean, things might look a little different in an impaired friendship, but we still make it work. Like, Bree actually got to come down to see me about what, Bree? 2 years ago
Yeah, it's been a while now.
now? But one thing we didn't think through was how the heck we were gonna hug. So when that time came, I remember staring at you like, how are we gonna do this? And I remember your dad specifically just yanked you out of your chair and we made that work. But I mean, one thing I get about our friendship a ton is, oh, you guys must talk about your disability all the time. We don't.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I want everybody who's going to be watching this to realize is that even if friends have a disability, you aren't defined by your disability, and there's so much more to a friendship than just your disability.
Yeah, like, I feel like we rarely talk about it.
Yeah,
To be
exactly.
honest with you, like, you don't just call me and be like, oh, let's talk about TP today.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, no, like, we're not just like, oh, let's dwell on how much we hate our disability today.
I mean, don't get us wrong. Cerebral palsy is definitely a big part of our friendship, and it will always be, but we don't always like dwelling on it because we try to think positively and move forward the best we can, so.
I mean, let's put it this way. It's part of our friendship, it's not the focus.
Yes.
So we don't talk about it every chance we get.
Yeah.
Like, actually, we try not to talk about it.
Yeah.
Unless the other one needs to. When that needs to happen, we allow that to happen. But most people tend to think that our conversations are just CP based. Like, okay, I feel like if that was the case, we'd run out of things to talk about so quickly.
Yeah, we'd be like it would almost be like a cut and dry conversation, like, hey,
Yeah.
how are you? How's your back doing? Okay.
How tired are you today?
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing, like, most people tend to think that, like, that's all we bond over. We don't.
Yeah, there's so much more that we bond
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a musician for one. Bree has listened to so many crappy demos.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
she sat through a million demos at this point. So we don't just talk about our disability. In fact, that's pretty much always on the back burner.
Yeah.
Why? Because we don't notice it.
Yeah.
We don't notice it. Like,
And that's the one thing that I definitely want people to realize when they watch the podcast is that, like, if you're friends with either of us, we want you to be able to look past our disability. We want you to be able to look past our chairs and just see us for who we are, because obviously, like, if you're curious and you want to know about our disability and our situation, we're going to be happy to tell you that, because we understand that people get curious of what our life journey has been and how we got where we are today. But like I said it again, we want you to be able to push past the fact that we're in our chairs in our situation and just look at us for who we are, because we're the same as everyone else.
yeah, I mean, that's one main thing too. Like, our chairs are just something we sit in. They are not us. There's so much more to each one of us. That's not the chair. Like, Bree, for example, is writing a book right now. But she won't tell you that. Because she's pretty shy. As it is, I had to, like, force her to do this podcast with me.
Yeah, that's the one thing that Nick has helped me out with our during our friendship. Like, she's always been that type of person that, like, if she wants to go after something, she's gonna do whatever it takes to get there. And I kind of struggle with that piece. When I come up with an idea, I know in my heart I want to do it, but then I let my nerves get in the way.
Yeah.
And then I don't do it. So that's the one of the several things that I appreciate about you so much, is that you've always been there to push me when you know it's definitely what I want to do. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, so for example, I called her, like, earlier in the week. I was like, yo, we're doing this. Like, you can't say no. We're doing it. She's like, okay. But yeah, we kind of want this to be a resource for parents, a resource for children with any disability growing up. We
And
know how hard it is to grow up with a disability. We kind of want to be able to guide you through that as best we can. So we're going to be covering topics like growing up with CP because, growing up with any disabilities difficult. Growing up in general is difficult.
yeah, and one thing that you'll see in one of our future episodes is one of my best friends, Nina, who is actually my instructor, one of my instructors at my horse therapy. She is actually going to be on the podcast talking about how it is to be friends with someone with a disability and surrounded by people in her life with disabilities, and how it's changed her perspective on life and how she views life. Because that's one of the other things, is that this podcast not only could be for people that have to go through disability, or parents with children with disabilities, but it's also about how people's lives have changed by being surrounded by people with disabilities.
Yeah, because I think the quote unquote able bodied perspective is also really unique because we've never experienced the other side of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And to kind of tease next week a bit, you'll get to meet Eden, who actually introduced us. So you'll get to hear more of the story in full because we don't want to go
In too
into
much detail.
detail here, but so you'll get to meet Eden next week. Something else you can look forward to is I'm actually really excited for the entire month of July because we have 4 guests set up for July. So you'll get to see many other faces besides these two.
Yes, exactly.
And if you're listening to this, you'll get to hear many other voices besides these two. Yeah, we have a lot coming up, and it happened really quickly. Guests actually just confirmed last night, so we've been scrambling trying to schedule everyone. But yeah, a few other topics you can look forward to. That was how our disabilities affected us in our school years. I'm actually in college right now. I'm a music major right now, so and that goes back to how it affects me currently, not just how it affected me when I was younger. Obviously Bree's not in school right now, so she'll be touching on the younger side of things.
Yeah.
But what we had to do to make school be accessible for us, because inclusion is a very big thing that is still missing from the disability community, and I hate that there's not as much inclusion as there should be. I've always hated that that we were considered special ed when we were younger.
Oh yes. That boils my blood to this day when I think about it.
Yeah, because we're human. We should be allowed to interact with our peers. And yeah, so this podcast is for parents with children with disabilities, people with disabilities, people that just want to listen to other perspectives of disability. We're gonna cover pretty much everything under the sun. We're gonna have fun topics too. Don't worry, they're not gonna be all this heavy. Trust me. We're gonna have some fun too. We're thinking about playing games with guests. So, Yeah, we're gonna have fun with this. But yeah, for us, this is an entirely new journey we're taking on. We've never done anything remotely close to this. Although I'm a musician, this is very different from music and performing. You would think I'd be used to this by now, but I'm not. But yeah, we're just excited to be able to share stories and excited to be able to finally say what we've wanted to say for 9 years.
Yeah, we're so excited because I feel like, at least for me in my life, and it's getting better, it's getting easier for me to express this, but for most of my life, it's been hard for me to be vulnerable and share fully what's on my heart unless it's to the people that I'm closest to.
Me?
So I've been really, yes, I've been really, just proud of myself and grateful that I've gotten the opportunity to inspire as many souls as I have and to be able to, um, just be given the chance to kind of remind others that each one of us has some type of gift that we can share with this world no matter what you go through. So
Yeah, and I think this also is going to give us a chance to interact with other people in the disabled community that we wouldn't have been able to connect with otherwise. I know we have some pretty big plans next month, so you'll be seeing a lot more from us because we will be here every week. We will be doing this every week. We are fully committed.
yeah,
Unless a giant emergency happens.
yeah,
We have plans for that too, but if all goes well, you'll be hearing from us every week. So we were also thinking about doing like a question and answer episode down the road. So if you have any questions, feel free to send them our way. If you're watching this, we'll put our socials somewhere on the screen. So you could go connect with us over there. We have an Instagram and a Facebook currently, and a YouTube channel, obviously, that you're watching this on. If you're listening to this, our Instagram is, Besties on Wheels podcast. You can find us over there on Instagram. Same with Facebook, we have a Facebook page. And our YouTube is pretty much the same name, so everywhere you'll be able to find us. Because this will be going up every Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central. So, you will get to hear / listen to our voices every Sunday. So we thank you in advance for putting up with us. 'Cause things are about to get really crazy over here. Is there anything else you want to add though?
no, I would just say we're just really excited for what all we have in store, and we appreciate all of you guys that are taking the time out of your days to listen to what we have to share.
Alright, we will see you next week with our first special guest ever.
Bye, guys.
See ya!